Good news is he can't Plaza and Ephemeral Spell next turn. That is the good news. The bad news is that that's the best news we have. Hey everyone, RaptorSpank here. Today we have another episode of On the Grind, the show where I cover a deck I'm playing in Ranked. I'll break down the deck, a couple of flex spots, and some basic mulligans. Then we'll put the deck through some ranked matches and review how we do afterwards. This week I'm returning to my most viewed deck, BSi Go Hard Midrange. So this deck is basically built around the card Go Hard and trying to pack your bags as often as possible, but it has a number of other ways to play. Even one pack your bags is often all you need. You have cards like Commander Ledros to basically lower your opponent's health even more. You have a really aggressive kind of tempo package with things like Jagged Butcher, Dreadway Deckhand, Doom Beast can drain your opponent down as well. And then we can also level up Twisted Fate really easily, so we can have leveled up Twisted Fate as a win condition. And even in rare cases, Elise can serve as a win condition too, because it's not that it's not impossible anyways to level her up. But generally speaking, the main plan is to cast Go Hard as often as possible and hopefully slowly grind your opponent down to the point that pack your bags will be lethal. Now let's go over the current list. Let's begin with the champion package that starts with 3 copies of Elise. This is just a really good tempo piece for the deck that can potentially give us many units for a very, very low cost, since every time she attacks, she'll create a Spiderling, so your opponent either if they block it, it will lower the health of whatever blocked it, which can get to the point that Go Hard can kill whatever unit is. And just in general, if they don't block it, you're going to slowly build up an army of spiders. And then the fact that Elise comes down on turn 2 with Fearsome, while she doesn't have a lot of power, it will chunk your opponent down fairly quickly. In often cases, they won't really be able to block her on turn 2. So she's just a really good way to start getting the hits in early. And then that brings us to 3 copies of Twisted Fate, which, as I mentioned, is another win condition of the deck, essentially. We have a lot of card draw in the deck, and his aspect of card draw is really good because when you cast Go Hard, it will put multiple copies into your deck. And you want to keep casting Go Hards until you get Pack Your Bags, and then even when you pack your bags, you want to get more Go Hards so you can get back to pack your bags again. So Twisted Fate just benefits from all the things that accomplish that, as well as with Blue Card, he can help to accomplish that. And not even just Blue Card, but also his Champion spell are really good for digging deeper into your deck. And then generally speaking, he can get the red cards and gold cards for a bunch of different utility things against single threat decks. Gold card's going to be amazing. Red card's going to be great against go wide decks. So all of those things are really good, especially when you use it with something like Dreadway Deckhand. You'll get powder kegs to increase the damage that these things do. But generally speaking, he's a great payoff that can also help get to the main idea of Go Hard, but he's also just a great payoff that can attack relatively safely because of quick attack, although with only 2 power, that becomes problematic fairly quickly, but generally speaking, he can attack fairly often, fairly safely because of quick attack. Now let's look at the follower package. This starts with 3 copies of Jagged Butcher. This is just another great tempo piece. You often won't get it with Plunder, but sometimes you can, and that can be really great into fearsome heavy decks. But generally speaking, he's just here for a great turn 1 tempo piece to start pressuring your opponent early. Then we have 3 copies of Pool Shark. This just facilitates everything I mentioned in the deck of drawing a lot of cards so that we can get to Go Hard often. Now, this can kind of doom us a bit or like mess us up a bit if you say you're like against Banner Scouts and you play Pool Shark round 1 and then the next turn it draws Ruination as your fleeting card. Then you lose something really, really important. But generally speaking, a lot of things are fairly low cost in the deck, so it doesn't punish you too much. So you're often best bet is to play it on turn 1, but sometimes you will hold it because if you don't need to play something on turn 1, it's not always the worst case scenario to leave Pool Shark to more guarantee that you can use what it draws you. And then we have 3 copies of Dreadway Deckhand. This is another great tempo piece. A 2/2 for 2 is slightly worse than Jagged Butcher, obviously, but since it comes with a powder keg, it's pretty much worth it, and it's just a great body for what the cost is, whether you're on the defensive to block or you're just trying to run your opponent down quickly so the pack your bags will kill him. Powder Kegs facilitates a lot of things we have, like red card, gold card, Go Hard. There's just many things that will benefit from that extra damage, so it's well worth using the card just to get Powder Kegs. So that's one of the big reasons we do it, because Twisted Fate's red card isn't a huge board wipe by itself, but when you combine it with a powder keg, that can very easily clear the board against most decks. And then with Go Hard, it's going to gain you more life, as well as basically kill larger units. You can also use it with something like a Doom Beast to drain more from your opponent if you need to kill them a little bit. It's a great flexible card. Which that brings us to 3 copies of Fortune Croaker, which draws us more cards as well. Big theme of the deck, obviously, just try and draw a bunch of cards. Fortune Croaker is another great way to do it, and another great tempo piece because it's going to be a 2/2 for 2. So gets a good body onto the board, helps you run your opponent down fairly quick, fairly easy. So just basically does everything we're looking to do. And then we have the 3 copies of Doom Beast that I just talked about. This is just here as life gain essentially, but it comes stapled to a fairly sizable body with a 3/2. And since the way that the life gain works is it drains it from your opponent's nexus, it can also be used to basically close out the last couple of points of damage against our opponent. And you would be surprised how often Doom Beast actually ends up doing that. It ends up being the thing that kills our opponent outright. So it's a really, really strong card that does a lot of things for a deck. Then we have 1 copy of Chronicler of Ruin. This is basically just here to kill a Zap Sprayfin and resummon it. That's why we only run 1, is that our deck's not super built around utilizing Chronicler of Ruin, but generally speaking, there's a couple of other things that aren't too bad. You can use it with, say, a Jagged Butcher to get it back with Plunder if it didn't already have it. You can use it with, like, an Elise to heal her. You can use it with a Fortune Croaker to heal them because the damage to Fortune Croaker is a play effect. So if you kill it and resummon it, it won't actually have the damage done to it. That's a pretty rare scenario that you'd want that, but that is a possibility. You can also use on Dreadway Deckhand to create another Powder Keg. That can be really, really strong. So there's a couple of things like that, but it's basically just here for Zap Sprayfin. Which then, of course, brings us to 3 copies of Zap Sprayfin. The big thing here is that when it's summoned, it draws a spell that costs 3 or less from your deck, and then it gives you 1 mana back. Now, we have 6 spells that cost 3 or less from our deck, and that is Go Hard and Glimpse Beyond. So we're either going to get one of the best cards in our deck, Go Hard, or we're going to get something that's going to draw us further through our deck to try and get to Go Hard. So it just basically gets us something that's guaranteed to be good for us. And it's stapled to an elusive body that can pressure our opponent really, really well. Even though this is only a 2/2, because of the fact that it's elusive, Zap Sprayfin will often do a ton of damage to your opponent. Finally, we have 2 copies of Commander Ledros. This is another win condition in and of itself. If you manage to do 2 damage, you can play Ledros, half them down to 9 health, and then swing with Ledros, and if they can't block, that's another 9, and they're dead. And if they can kill Ledros, it just goes back to your hand, and you half their health again next turn. It's just a great way to ensure that we keep our opponent's health total low enough that Pack Your Bags can be lethal, and even if they have a lot of life gain, this will make up for it by basically, since it just cuts their health in half, even if they're getting back up to 20, now they're back down to 10. It just ensures that they can't keep their health total high. It's just a really great late game payoff that can help us win a game out of nowhere. So it's just a really, really strong card in the deck, which is why I'm running it in this version as opposed to the last version. Then we have 3 copies of Go Hard in our spell package. This is the primary win condition of the deck, essentially. It drains 1 from a unit for 1 mana, and then it creates more copies of it in your deck. You can drain from your own unit, you can drain from your opponent's unit, you gain life either way, and even if they kill whatever you're trying to drain with Go Hard, you'll still create 2 copies of the card in your deck. Basically, they would have to counterspell all 3 copies of Go Hard for you to run out of Go Hards in your deck, and that's what makes it so hard to deal with, and honestly so problematic for the game. But no matter, that's what we're looking to do, is essentially make a bunch of copies and cast as many of them as possible, which when we've cast it 3 times, it transforms all of the copies into Pack Your Bags, and that is, in a way, our primary win condition, since it deals 5 damage to all enemies and the enemy nexus. And then it transforms all of your copies back to Go Hard, so you have to cast 3 Go Hards again to get another Pack Your Bags, but that means you're just going to be constantly increasing the number of Go Hards in your deck. Then we have 3 copies of Glimpse Beyond. Again, as I mentioned, this is just a great way to draw further through your deck. It can help level Twisted Fate, it can help you find more Go Hards, just does a lot of great things. And we have a lot of units that we can sacrifice to it, especially if you've managed to land an Elise and you're getting Spiderlings, you can sacrifice the Spiderlings. If something of yours is going to die anyways, you can sacrifice that to draw more cards. It's just a really great utility card for the deck. Then we have 3 copies of Salvage. Again, more card draw. You just can't go wrong with that. And it happens at burst speed, so it's really great for leveling up Twisted Fate. And since it's burst speed, you can use it with a leveled up Twisted Fate to trigger his different Destiny spells. So it's just a really great card for the deck. Then we move into our really hard removal package. We have 2 copies of Vengeance. That helps us just deal with any single target threat that's going to be a problem for us. And then we have the 2 copies of Ruination to just be a penultimate board wipe if we're playing against something like midrange or our opponent is somehow managing to stay just ahead of us on board. We can always use Ruination, and maybe that just buys us time towards a pack your bags to clear the board. But generally speaking, we just want to have this solid hard removal package to buy us the time we need to combo off. Now let's talk a little bit about some flex spots for the deck. You can always play with numbers a little bit, but one of the bigger changes with this list, and one of the bigger changes you can make, is that a lot of people will decide between Commander Ledros or 2 copies of Crumble. Now Crumble gives you a little more versatility in the fact that it's able to destroy landmarks. That can be really good against stuff like Starspring, or even it can be good against, say, a Grand Plaza deck. But in my personal opinion, I think Crumble is a terrible card, which is why I'm not running it. I said this in the last deck guide, and I stand by this statement now. There is so many ways for Crumble to go wrong for you, because you have to kill an ally of your own to kill this. So if you have an empty board, Crumble is useless. But if they kill your unit in response to Crumble, it will fizzle the spell. So there's about 100 ways to counter Crumble. You can either counterspell Crumble, you can give spell shield to whatever it's targeting, you can kill the unit that it has to sacrifice. All of these things will cause the spell to fizzle. So I personally don't like running it, even though it has some good flexibility. And then in general, Commander Ledros is such a great finisher for the deck that I just think it's a much, much better card. Now another thing you could do, I mentioned that Doom Beast is kind of our life gain package. Doom Beast is a very aggressive choice because it doesn't deal with enemy units, it just drains your opponent's Nexus, so it counts as dealing damage to your opponent's Nexus as well as gaining you life. And it comes stapled to a very strong body that can help you basically push your win even faster. So it's just a nice aggressive piece and all that. But if the meta shifts in a way where you need to be more of a control deck, you can replace 1 to all 3 of the Doom Beasts with some combination of Withering Wails or Grasp of the Undying. So anywhere between 1 to 3. Some people will do like 1 Grasp, 2 Witherings, or vice versa. That's just an option you can go with instead of going Doom Beast if you're a little more worried about the opponent's deck. If you're getting outrun by decks a lot, you can do that to basically, yes, you'll slow your deck down a little bit, but you'll slow down your opponent's deck a lot. So that's a great decision if you want to go a little more the control route with the deck. Then from there, there's another really common thing that people will do is drop 1 copy of Elise for a copy of Gangplank. If you saw the original deck guide, I was running that version of it. Since then, I've really changed my mind to 3 copies of Elise just being a better version. Elise is just such a great tempo card for the deck that it's just so good. And it can be kind of hard to level Gangplank up a bit. And the only time he's really going to shine in this deck is if you can level him up, but he does work as another win condition. And yes, even a 5/5 with Overwhelm is strong, even if you can't get him to level up, but really where Gangplank shines in this deck is if you can get that attack trigger every turn, if you're getting a Powder Keg every turn, and it is not that easy to level up Gangplank, because we don't have many ways to deal damage on our opponent's turn, so it's pretty much just we have to keep hitting them every turn, and it's hard for us to do that 5 attacks in a row. So I consider Gangplank to be very slow, and I don't think playing him for just the Powder Keg is really, really worth it. So generally speaking, I prefer 3 copies of Elise to 2 Elise, 1 Gangplank. But that is an option if you prefer that, or you'd like to have another big unit with Overwhelm that can serve as a win condition. He's great for that. Then another thing you do instead of Chronicler of Ruin, since I mentioned that it's basically only worth it for using with Zap Sprayfin, which means if you don't find a Zap Sprayfin, your Chronicler is not great. But since we have a lot of card draw, you can fairly consistently hit that. But another option you can go with is Hired Gun, because that's another great tempo piece. It can help you basically use your units as removal against your opponents, since it gives vulnerable to whatever their strongest unit is, so you can assign blocks in the best possible way for you. You can help force damage through, and then this is just a 2/3 for 2 aside from that, so it's a really great tempo piece from that perspective, since it's kind of hard to deal with at 3 health. It can just basically fill out your curve really nice, so that's another good option. Chronicler plus Zap is so strong that it's pretty hard to give up that combo, but I have run Hired Gun in the past, and it has done very well for me, so that is another option you can go with. Now let's talk pretty briefly about mulligans here. Basically speaking, this deck is very flexible, so your mulligans also need to be flexible a bit. you can be very aggressive. You can just play on curve really, really well. You generally speaking want to keep Go Hard into basically any matchup if you find one, and even multiple copies aren't necessarily bad, although I'm not sure I would keep 3 unless I'm playing against aggro where I expect it to be able to kill most units they play. But generally speaking, you'll keep a Go Hard if you find it. You'll keep some sort of early curve just to run your opponent down. Card draw's really good too, and one of your champions is a great thing to keep into most openers. So for aggro, definitely Go Hard's amazing here because it gains you life and kills their stuff. That's a great combo, especially if you can combine that with something like Dreadweight Deckhand. Doom Beast can also be really good here. You definitely don't want to see stuff like Ledros here. Even Chronicler of Ruin isn't particularly great. Salvage isn't great. Ruination can be pretty slow against aggro, but not the worst. Same with Vengeance. But Go Hard's going to be great in an early curve of things like Jagged Butcher, Pool Shark, one of your 2 drops. And Doom Beast is really good here too for gaining you life back. So that's what you want to see into aggro. That's your perfect idea, your perfect plan. Against mid-range, that's where you start to want to see things like Vengeance, Ruination, Doom Beast is really strong. Zap Sprayfin should be able to do a fair amount of damage. Twisted Fate can be good for the gold card. Elise is going to have a hard time getting through most mid-range decks, so you might not be as thrilled to see her. But generally speaking, you want hard removal, and you want a number of ways to keep digging through your deck and keeping your hand full so that you can keep dealing with your opponent's stuff and hopefully run them out of cards so that you can win the late game with stuff like Ledros. Against control, you're going to want to go fast. We're talking like you want a 1-drop, 2-drop, and then something to play on turn 3. Doom Beast is pretty hard to get Nightfall for on turn 3, so you usually don't play it. But like maybe a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and then another 2-drop, something like that. Elise should be phenomenal into most control decks. Piltover can deal with her on turn 3 or turn 2 potentially, but generally speaking, she's going to be a really good way to deal with control because of Fearsome. Most of the units that control has won't be able to block her, and she just keeps generating units every turn, so trying to deal with all of them will be hard for your opponent. So that's really what you want, is a very aggressive curve. Ledros should be phenomenal here, but generally speaking, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time getting to pack your bags, but the big thing is to just go aggro, and maybe you'll get to pack your bags. It actually does happen fairly often. It just takes a long time to get to it. So Go Hard's not awful, but generally speaking, the early unit curve is the best thing you could go for here. And that's the deck for this episode. You can find the deck code as well as the deck link in the description below if you want to try it out for yourself. Now let's jump into the matches. Okay, mirror match. Interesting. No surprise there. Was hoping not to be playing this deck, but unfortunately the game is in a terrible place. So we are playing Go Hard. I've changed my mind. I tried so many decks before this one, and here we are.
Where do you stand on
Okay,
cold shot?
what's he got? This is where we draw Ledros off Pool Shark. Oh my lord! You can't even make this up! What is that? Oh, well. Alright, well. Play the board. See what he does. Yeah, I saw that coming from about 8 years away. I think I'll just play Jagged Butcher as a blocker. Really unfortunate that we lost our Ledros, because Ledros is what breaks the mirror match the most, so we did need that quite a bit. Do we run out this Twisted Fate? I think we might. You know what? No, we'll play Zap.
Keep up, keep up.
Wow.
Gotta go with the flow.
That is a tragedy.
Woo!
See if he blocks. If he doesn't block, okay, he will block. Alright.
Try again.
This is gonna go for a Go Hard. Okay, well, we will just sack this, draw some cards. Hopefully we can start finding our Go Hards, because our opponent's already found 2 and we have found 0. But the game hates me tonight. It will not happen. It's fine. Is what it is. Yep. Play this.
Go on then.
Yeah, well. We'll just gold card, kill that. Good chance he does exactly the same thing and gold cards a Twist of Fate to kill ours, but oh, maybe not. Alright.
Hold it, partner.
That's fine. Another Doom Beast, okay. Now, at least we have one in hand too. But our opponent has been much more lucky as far as Go Hard goes, so that is going to be a big problem for us very quickly. Okay, Zap Sprayfin. Does he have double, though? That is the question.
You pay, I talk to spirits. These are my rules.
I think we'll do that again.
If I kill you, I don't fuck you, stupid.
Hey, there's the Ledros. That's what we wanted. Okay, so I'm going to get to 5 here. And I can actually level him.
Let's do this.
Okay. So, yeah, I do have enough for this. Wanted to do that before we draw cards because we want to draw Go Hards, so that is the ideal.
I've whipped up something special.
Or actually, you know what? Let's drain the keg. Now, so I had a choice here. I could have salvaged, then Go Harded to level up Twist of Fate and then get the blue. But I'm deciding that I want to put more Go Hards into my deck before I start drawing cards. Alright, so he has a glimpse. That is fine. And we're trying to set it up so he doesn't have an easy way to kill my Twist of Fate. Can't do much about that. So let's just level up our Twisted Fate, so if we find another one, he'll be leveled up. Because that can be pretty powerful into the mirror matchup. Alright. Unfortunate, but is what it is. The question is, do we start playing stuff next turn?
Suppose you want in on this.
Suppose I should leave you be.
I guess we'll play Zap here.
Gotta go with the flow.
There is hope.
Oh, I can actually potentially board wipe here. He's at what? 2 Go Hards, I think? Red. Ugh, I hate that resets it when that happens. Red. Wait, right? No, that was a glimpse. Okay, that'll just tell us right there. Okay. So we will pack his bags. Do some damage, see what he does. If he packs our bags in response, we'll play Elise. If not, we'll just hit him for a bunch. Okay, that's fine. Alright, does he pack my bags? We are starting to get into decent shape here. And that was a pretty good wipe for us there.
We playing bilge rules, son?
Do I want to go for more damage? So if I do this, he takes 3 for sure. Yeah, I think we go for this.
Something the matter. Win. Again. Go on then.
Decisions. I think we'll just bank. See what my opponent does.
Packed 'em good.
What can we do here? Take these, okay. It's gonna drain me a bit. I'm waiting for the pack your bags. Coming soon to a theater near you.
For silver I talk, for gold I listen.
Waiting for it. There it is. Okay, we take a chunk here. But I think we just Ruination play units. We're in reasonably good shape. So we're gonna Ruination, play Elise, play Pool Shark. Now it's a little unfortunate we didn't Chronicler, whatchamacallit, Zap. Okay, so this is 4 damage, which will drop him to 10. Better question is, do we... No. We'll just swing like this. Okay. That's fine. That's actually a pretty good toss. Him losing a zap is very good. We are kind of low on health, though. Okay, well, I will glimpse beyond that. Deny him some life gain if I can.
So young.
Okay. No, Twist of Fate's not the worst. Now, what do we want to do here? I think we Doom Beast, gain some life. Now, we're probably going to Twist of Fate. Or, we're definitely going to Twist of Fate. Okay. This is scary. This is very scary. I guess I don't have to play Twist of Fate, so maybe I shouldn't. Okay, now we can play Twist of Fate. We can now officially play Twist of Fate.
Where was I?
So we can Vengeance this Gangplank so we don't take damage. So what's he at right now? Yeah, we'll Vengeance this. Yeah, he'll probably Glimpse. Oh no, he's gonna Vengeance Twist of Fate. Okay.
Soak it in.
Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to go hard to kill that. So go hard, kill the keg. Get rid of that so that our opponent can't use it to kill our stuff. And then we're going to play Twist of Fate. So he's like, what, 1, 2... Okay, so that's 3. What do I have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage? Oh man, that's so close.
Come closer.
Okay.
I don't bite.
Only fools play the hand they're dealt. Looks like trouble.
Okay.
Hush now.
Think we go for that. See what he blocks.
Come, stay a while.
Okay. Does he pack my bags? Okay. Yes, yes he does. Yeah, this is probably in my best interest. And I guess that means we do this. Draw a couple of cards.
Eyes open.
He has one card left.
Win.
Okay, that's enough go hards. Okay, let's see what my opponent has.
Ye started without me.
Oh wait, it's not quite enough go hards. I need one more. We are very, very close. Very, very close. Okay.
No, the box is set for ye.
Don't know much, do ya?
Alright, what does he have? That is lethal. I think we got there. Okay. GG. There's the pack your bags. And that is the lethal number. We didn't even play Ledros. Yep. And there we go. That was a very, very frustrating, annoying, long match. But in the end, we got there. So I guess we'll take that. We went through all of our TFs to do it, but guess all's well that ends well. On to the next. Alright. Fiora Shen. This could be a bit annoying. I guess Ruination should be good. Vengeance could be good. Playing units isn't necessarily good. Man. What I hate about these decks, because this is always the case, is that, like, you play to deal with one half of the deck and you lose to the other half. Like, if I play towards the mid-range aspect, I'll lose to Fiora. But if I play towards the Fiora, I'm going to lose to the mid-range. Alright, well, let's draw some cards, I guess. Looks like they're on the Fiora plan, so... Oh, okay, that is not a Fiora. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. That is not a Fiora. Yeah, we'll do that, I guess. I mean, Ruination can be good, especially if he doesn't have the deny. Does he have the misfortune now? No. We'll just play this.
Keep up, keep up.
He's gonna draw a bunch of spells. In theory.
Sweep them away. You pay first. Say your
I think we're gonna try for this, and then if he has a combat trick, he can kill this in response, and then we won't draw cards. But if he doesn't, then he gets nothing, which is the goal here. Do we go for this? I guess yes.
Never lost a fair game.
If he barriers, it'll strip the barrier and it will still stun him. We're lucky he hasn't found a Fiora yet, because that is a good way to deal with what our deck is doing.
Hold it, partner.
What form will the waters take?
My shield is
Okay.
yours. Through the coral.
Does he have a single combat, maybe? Yes, he does. Alright, well. Weird choice, though, because he did just take 4 damage. But he is drawing spells, and we do not like him drawing spells. That's a problem for us. Yeah, maybe. Let's see what our opponent does here. We've got a couple of options here, depending on how our opponent plays this.
Engulf them.
Okay. Well, I will
This
risk
is
that.
outrage.
Let's do this.
Packed 'em good.
I guess maybe we go hard first. I'm trying to think. I think they probably have something like single combat to kill this keg, but I'm not 100% certain of that. Again, we're very lucky they didn't find Fiora this game. Our goal here is to try and kill this Bright Steel Protector. That opens up a couple of avenues for us. I have a feeling they will kill the keg in response. I think that's a very real possibility here. And if they do that, then that's unfortunate. They could also have Sharp Sight, I suppose. Okay, they're going to kill the keg in response, draw a spell. Yeah. So if that is the case, we're just going to play Fortune Croaker and draw us some more.
You pay. I talk to spirits. These are my rules.
Yeah, a little unfortunate we can't find the next Go Hard.
Shield up.
What's he got? He's not taking that. Oh, or maybe he is. Weird. Now what we're trying to get to is a Ruination at this point. I suppose I could Deckhand plus Doombeast to drain 3? In theory? Maybe we just start with Pool Shark.
We playing bilge rules?
Man, how risky is playing this? I think we'll go for it. How many single combats does he use now? 2? So single combat last turn, single combat turn before. Yeah, he's used 2, so he's down to 1. And we can still Ruination next turn, but that was a bit expensive. Ooh. That's a little bit sketchy. Okay, go hard, sweet. We like that. We especially like that plus that.
You're in over your head.
Well, I guess we're not Ruinationing this turn. Yeah, we'll throw that in front.
Use 'em.
Okay. Yo.
A gift from the river folk.
Well, we will do this. We're close. We are very, very, very close. Yeah, sure. I mean, one more point of damage and this Ledros is lethal. We'll play Jagged Butcher here. And if he passes, we just full swing.
I should leave ye be.
What did he use? He used a riposte? Okay. Number of spells he could have. Okay, so that's one of the ones we were a little more afraid of.
Form will the waters take?
He's still going to need a couple of different things for the next turn. I suppose I could have played Elise there. Maybe I should have played Elise there.
Currents, pull them down.
He'll need something else here. That alone isn't enough.
We will reform.
Okay. That's not bad. Yeah, that drops him to 5. Yeah, we'll salvage. Okay. Say go hard. What else you got, bud? Okay. Yeah, sure.
A gift from the river folk.
Okay, this could get denied. Or nopified. Okay. That is the least concerning thing he could have done. So we still get our copies in the deck. Let's see what he does this next turn. Bright Steel formation would be pretty sweet. Because then we just ruination. We have him very, very close to dead.
Sweep them away.
Okay. Okay.
The
Shit.
eye of twilight.
Do we just go for it? I think we do. Force him to waste and deny. Yeah, that's fine.
So I go. Engulf.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Doesn't really make sense to go the other way around, bud. Yeah. That'll happen. Now let's just Chronicler of Ruin. Get another card draw next turn. Because if we can find our pack your bags, he is dead. Okay. Pack your bags. Did he find another counterspell? Nopeify. Okay. What you got? Do we play Ledros or do we play Pack Your Bags? It's getting risky now. Now it's getting risky.
A gift from the river folk.
Okay, we'll play Ledros, I think. I think this is the Ledros turn. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. We get to attack with Ledros this turn, too. Oh, Lord. Unfortunately, we don't have the mana for Pack Your Bags now. Okay. I mean, he can't kill us yet. But it's not impossible for him to be able to kill us. But, like, trying to think. Riposte. How many things he could do to make that lethal. That is lethal right there, but... Okay. Yep. That is fine.
Wait a minute. Come with. Forward the waters take.
Okay, that's lethal. What you got? Deny. Okay, he did draw another spell, so... I think we Pool Shark this turn, right? Was that his last deny?
Soldiers, to me!
Oh wait, we win. GG. That was dumb of him. Yeah, he did. Okay, yep. He had so many possible plays from our perspective, and he just ensured that we knew that he did not have them. So that was good. Lucky he did not find Fiora. That would have made that a lot worse for us, but still, yeah. Weird game, but we will take that. Alright. Banner Scouts. Interesting. So Ruination should be good here. Go Hard can work if we can go quick, but basically we just want to gum up the board, try to buy time, have Ruination and Vengeance to clear things. Go Hard's not bad. We'll pitch these. We'll keep the Elise. Double Go Hard, I mean, could be worse. This isn't the right matchup for it, but it could be worse. Okay. We were ready for the Fleet Feather, at least. We'll play Elise.
I don't bite.
See what our opponent plays. And this is MF Quinn. Okay.
your cover.
Wow. Do I swing anyways? I think so, right?
We could use a bite.
I think we're willing to take that trade.
So young.
Just start getting some damage in. Okay, so he has the plaza.
Where do you
We
stand
don't have
on
crumble to deal with plaza. That's the one downside. But if we can kill all the units, it won't matter. Do I play him? I think maybe I do.
Bounty Ball knows me name.
Just get a little extra damage through. But you only have 1 mana. Okay. really not much you could possibly do with that. Oh, that is beyond tragic. That's actually so bad. That is so incredibly bad. Can't really picture a worst case scenario than that. That's one of our ruinations just gone.
Dangerous waters.
Okay. Well, let's kill that. Kill the nimble Poro. Just fire off all our Go Hards? I might. I actually might. Nah, it's probably not worth it. We probably have to keep it just to deal with what he plays this turn. There's a good chance we can't deal with what he plays this turn, but in case.
Nothing gets between me
Win.
and my mark.
Okay. Well, I can't actually kill that. Unfortunately. Let's see what he does. He's gonna get a lot of attacks in. Okay. Okay. Alright, well we can kill that. I'll take 2, and I'll kill Bull Shark to draw a few cards. Since it's not actually going to make a difference. Ooh. Ooh, those are all good things. These are all good things.
Just like
Let's see what he does. Okay.
You got legs.
Actually, yeah. Maybe. Do we trade in our board? I don't know that we do, actually.
No!
Alright, let's do this. And let's play Zap.
Gotta go with the flow.
If it hits pack your bags, we just kill his board. Yep. Wipe the board. Wipe the board, open attack for more damage. That'll get him down to 6. We might be piecing this together in the weirdest possible way. Our health total is still high, but I'm not at all confident where it is, to be quite frank. With the deck that our opponent has, it's very easy for them to just win out of nowhere, which is why I'm gonna draw cards right now. Okay, I'll play Bull Shark.
We playing build rules.
Please don't hit my other Ruination. Please don't hit my other Ruination. That's all I ask. Okay, so he's double Challenger right now. Okay, that is much better. Well, let's see what our opponent does here.
Show them what we're
Sithri
made
of the
of.
Bold. Well, we will kill one of these challengers, and I suppose that is probably the best one to go for.
You'll pay.
Although the fact that she has challenger right now is kind of bad for us. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We could actually be dead here, couldn't we? Okay. Try to cut back on what our opponent has.
Skipping ahead.
Yeah, that is what we were most scared of. Because I can't actually block that. Good news is that's now down to pack your bags level. Can we draw a pack your bags?
I know what lurks in the shadows.
What does our opponent have? I think they're probably going to win this one.
Store the rations!
Yeah, I think there is a good chance that our opponent is going to win the game from here. We do get a fearsome blocker at least. Gain a bit of health. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah. Not great.
Just like hunting thresher geese.
Well, I mean, there's pretty much no reason not to block here. Man, I don't know what our best play is here. I think it's this, because that gives us 2 fearsome blockers. But I mean, it's possible that Fortune Croaker was the better play.
Follow my lead.
Okay. Doesn't kill us, but he could have Relentless Pursuit. And that's what does kill us. What's he got? At least he's got a full board, so he can't play a ton more units that are relevant, per se. I mean, he could play, like, another Cythria, and, like, that's game.
I've got your back.
Okay. Does that kill us? I don't think that kills us yet. Hard to say. I haven't actually done the math here.
Right on. Heal is yours.
Okay. Does he have Relentless Pursuit? That's the real question. Because if he has Relentless Pursuit, we're just dead no matter what happens.
Clear off.
I suppose that makes the most sense, right? Block there. So he has one less unit. Even though that keeps his Quinn alive, which could kill us. I think we're at Pack Your Bags, right? Like, our next one is Pack Your Bags. Okay. Alright. Does he have Relentless? That is the question. Grand Plaza. What is the last card? Not Relentless Pursuit. Okay, I have a ton of things I can do here. I have an actual ton of things I could do here.
I'll stop you.
Can he gain life? That's the best question here. Okay. Actually, you know what? This is the better play, right? Because this does the most.
I'm always up for a round or two. Who says I
Woo!
don't shoot?
Oh man, what a close game. That was terrifying. Alright, well that's, yeah, that's...
Was all
Whew.
it took.
These weak arms heavy, but we got there in the end, so, great. On to the next. Okay, Ephemeral Aggro. Interesting. I'm not really sure how this matchup goes, to be quite honest. So this ought to be interesting. I think Vengeance is worth keeping. And I'll even keep the double Fortune Croaker, but I'm hoping for a 1-drop here. Well, that's unfortunate. We're keeping Vengeance for Hecarim. Okay. Well, no turn 1 play out of our opponent. That's at least good. Do we play no value Fortune Croaker? Okay. This is rough. Alright, well, we will attempt to kill that. Alright, that worked. Not bad, not bad. No Grand Plaza, too, so that's also good for us. Ooh, you are 100% right. Let's drain with Doobies. The healing could be good at some point, but I think it's perfectly fine to just go for the max damage right now. I think I'm just going to swing with Doom Beast and not risk anything else. Although, no, yeah, we're swinging with Doom Beast. Grand Plaza. Okay, so little unfortunate. We could have definitely gone for it, but we will do this, I guess.
Don't change fate, and I can see it.
Yeah, dicey. If we had gotten that first.
Yeah.
That's actually not that bad. I think. You think we just do this, right? We do this, we stun.
Deal me in.
That kills the thing.
Hold it, partner.
Then he probably kills Twist of Fate. At least the timing was right. Okay, does he not have an ephemeral spell? That's very good for us if that's the case. I think I'll Twist of Fate actually and try to kill this
I'm
Bark
always up
Beast.
for a round or two.
Get a little bit of damage in. See what my opponent plays. How worried am I about that? I don't think I'm actually that worried.
For silver I thought, for gold I leased it.
Oh, now I'm extraordinarily worried. That is highly unfortunate. Okay, full swing. That changes things. We are now very much on full swing. Yeah, so we're gonna lose Twisted Fate anyways. That's why we did the full swing. Okay, so I assume we're gonna lose Elise here. No? Max damage, that's what he's going for? Okay, so we will do this, we will do that, we will take 3. And next turn we Vengeance the Heck Room. That Relentless Pursuit definitely caught us off guard though, so props to our opponent on that one. Did not see that coming at all. What's really unfortunate is that we haven't found many Go Hards, despite having that that early one. Ooh, that's not bad.
There's a chill in the air.
Well, we get to kill this Hecarim before he attacks. That's fortunate. What else you got? Darkwater Scourge. That is unfortunate. What do we do here? Do we draw cards? Is that what we do? I think we do.
If I kill you, I don't fortune, stupid.
Oh, man, we are drawing everything a turn late.
Mercy.
I mean, that's a huge life gain for him. It's very problematic for us.
So young.
That did just turn the tides quite a bit in his favor. Alright, well. Oh, I guess we do that. That's not bad.
Never lost a fair game. Or played one. All that glitters.
Okay, another heck room.
Keep up, keep up. Let's do this.
We're not in great shape right now. That is for sure, especially when we keep drawing glimpses rather than something else. Ooh, and he levels up. It's even more unfortunate. Okay, so if we do this, we go down to 7 mana. So if we hit something else, we're in good shape. Okay, this is probably my best play. Because if I hit Vengeance, I'm at least in decent shape. I, however, did not. Play this. Is this the part where we lose the game? Yep. That is game. Nothing we can do with the double heck room. It's just over at that point. So our opponent got lucky, but that does happen. He had all of his heck rooms, so that's the hardest thing for us to beat, especially when we can't find hard removal, which we didn't. If he didn't have Darkwater Scourge, that might have been a slightly better position too. But we kept missing our go hards. Couldn't find a pack your bags. Pack your bags is a good answer to heck room potentially. So unfortunately, nothing really lined up for us well there. But on to the next. Alright, Ephemeral Aggro again, because we don't get to have unique matchups, I guess. We'll see how this one goes. Well, there's hard removal. There's a Pool Shark, so that kind of curves nicely. We'll get rid of the Salvage, but Pool Shark into Elise, not too bad. There is a... Oh, Lord, what is this? There is still a decent chance that this Pool Shark draws us something terrible, because we do still have Double Ruination, a Vengeance, and our Ledros is in deck, but maybe if we're lucky we pull something good. That is not that, but could be a lot worse than losing our Chronicler. Chronicler is something we're definitely willing to lose. No, we're not willing to lose that. The Spider's dead anyways, there's nothing we can do about that. Good news is he can't Plaza and Ephemeral Spell next turn. That is the good news. The bad news is that that's the best news we have. Good chance we play this Jagged Butcher this turn, regardless of what our opponent does. We will see, though. Okay. I think we're gonna go for it.
Nothing like the stink of...
That's fine. Yep. Pass. Okay, that's a pretty neat combo turn for him. But we're going to follow that up with one of our own. We did take a big hit, but let the spiders commence.
You'll serve me one way or another.
And now we have a lot of good chump blockers too, so Heckram's really our only threat, because that's their only overwhelmer. But alright, here we go. The punching begins. Oh lord. Perfect. Pull her over. Do 9, half health our opponent. Bank mana, and we have Vengeance for next turn. Grand Plaza, that's fun. Alright. Bark Beast? Yeah, that's alright. So the big thing we have to worry about is them killing Elise this turn. That would be sad. I'm not as worried about that anymore.
Yeah.
Really not as worried about that.
Time to get rowdy.
Okay. That is fine. What'd you got? Okay. We will glimpse that. Ooh, I do like Twist of Fate. Yeah, we will Doom Beast, drain him down to 7, play Elise. I think we might actually have this. Sorry for the radio silence a bit. This is a weird game as as it ends up being. But not bad at all so far. Pull these over here, and then that's lethal. Wow! Yeah! What a game! Well, see, as you can see, matchup's very easy. You just have to draw every single Elise that you have, and then draw another Elise, because then you just win the game. And that's just all skill. I earned that completely and totally. Nothing RNG based. I'm just a great player, the best Go Hard player you've ever seen. Draw all 4 Elises. It's just that easy. That's all I got. On to the wrap up, I guess. Alright, so how did we do with Go Hard Midrange? We went 4-1 today with 2 repeat matches. I wasn't going to use them originally, or use 2 of the same originally, but I think the first game against Lucian Hecarim gave us a better perspective of how that matchup probably would go. I think that's going to be a semi-tough matchup since they can keep bringing back a lot of their ephemerals and a lot of their stuff survives our removal, our damage-based removal anyways, so they can run us down very quickly. They have a lot of ways to get things back if we do kill them, and Grand Plaza is, well, impossible for my main list to deal with, so unless you have Crumble, you can't deal with that, and that can get a lot of stuff past the Go Hard bit, so I think that should be a relatively rough matchup, but then I did want to keep the other one because that shows you how it can go well for us, and just in general, winning through Elise is so rare, and leveling Elise in this deck is so rare, I couldn't help but use that video. It's so fast. Like, I think that just illustrates why this deck can be a problem, is that we play very, very slow. Most of our games are going to be around somewhere in the ballpark of 15 minutes. A little under that, probably, but pretty close to 15 minutes, which is on the higher end of match times for Legends of Runeterra. So that's unfortunate about this deck, but we still can pull off a crazy fast win like this. This used to be the problem with Karina control before the nerfs way back when, and this deck has the same exact problem, is that, like, we can be so fast, and, like, basically we just get the best of every world. We're really fast and really controlling. We can win the late game, we can win the mid game, we can win the early game. It's just, the deck is definitely too strong. It's probably going to get nerfed in the next patch. It probably should get nerfed in the next patch. It's not quite as bad as like last season was, where we had those 3 decks that pushed everyone else out. But Go Hard is still performing well even after the new expansion, and the new expansion introduced a lot of great things. But if we see a lot more Lucian Hecarim, this deck could get forced out naturally, but I think they will probably have to nerf something to push the deck out a bit. I messed around with a couple of decks for this week's episode, and I had a lot of poor results with most of them, and this is the deck that did the best, which is why I kind of reluctantly went with it, because I didn't really want to do it again, especially since we're probably going to see nerfs on it. Everyone seems to think we're going to see nerfs on it, and I'm inclined to agree with them, so I kind of didn't want to put out a deck guide for this video so close to it, even though it is my most popular on the grind video of all time. But it's the best deck right now. I hate to say it, but it is the best deck right now, and if you know what you're doing on the deck, you're going to be even better on it, because it's not an easy deck per se. You can get away with a lot on the deck. Like, you can be bad at the game and still get a plus 50% win rate by playing this deck, but if you really know the deck and you know what you're doing, you can really get some crazy win rates out of this deck. It's just way too strong. So I think I'm a little surprised with how it went. I think we got a little bit lucky with, like, Fiora Shen and the last Lucian Hecarim game, but we got really unlucky in the mirror match, and yet we still won it, and fairly easily, to be honest. So, I mean, it was close, and they could have won, but they had such a good start, and we had such a bad one, and we still ran them down. it's just, yeah, it's pretty surprising, and we played against a lot of decks that I was a little more concerned about, because where Go Hard is going to be best is against aggro decks and like burn decks, because we have so much life gain, and Go Hard can kill a lot of their units and stuff like that. So those are the matchups where we tend to do the best. So the fact that we got a lot of mid-rangey matchups and we won them is very surprising for me. So this deck is just, it's really, really solid. There's nothing more that I can really say about it than that. It's a great deck if you want to play the best deck in the game. This is it. Plain and simple. You can win basically any matchup. Even, like, there's unfavored, there's favored, but I think you could have a reasonable shot of winning against any deck you see. I don't think there's any deck that you're really going to see and be like, oh, I can't do anything here. Even something like Star Spring, you can still just outrace them potentially, or just win through a lot of pack your bags. So even without ways to deal with landmarks, I think this is just going to be favored into most decks it runs up against. So thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe for more videos just like it.